Hey, what's up, family? Hey, today we're going to do an educational one for you guys. We're going to title this video, Black Excellence. And we're going to talk about the great feats that Black people achieve through persistence. And as always, you know I love to give you a word of the day. So the word of the day is going to be just that, dealing with this video, persistence. Now, if you look up the word persistence, it means continually, firmly, and despite difficulty or opposition. You know, no matter what, all the trials and obstacles that they gotta go through, they still continue on firmly despite the opposition. So let's jump right into it. Like I said, you understand when I say Black Excellence, the title of the video, all the feats they had to go through, because most Black people couldn't read or write. Because you remember,
it was illegal.
It was illegal, right? It was like a crime for them not to be able to read or write. They would get killed if they did that. How ugly was that? But when you say that, it makes you think.
What was white people?
What was white people's excuse for not reading or writing? Because you do know in the early 1800s and all that, most adults didn't know how to read and write.
You said most cultures are like...
Most people.
Yeah.
That touched back on another great video of ours. It's called Just That, Why I Love to Read. And I explained how reading started to become, just as they say, fundamental. But I explained how in the beginning, most people didn't know how to read, period. Only the preachers, the pastors were reading. That's why they thought they were so godly. But let's stay on point. Y'all want to go into that, because I go into great detail there. It's called Just That. That video is called Why I Love to Read. Trust me, you're going to learn something when you watch that video. I make it eventful for you too. But let's get back and stay on point. The great accomplishments that Black people achieved. Now, like I said, in about the 1860, let's go with some dates. About 1860, do you know most Blacks, most adults didn't know how to read, period. But let's just stick with Blacks, right? Black people was only reading at about a 2% rate. Reading and writing. Because that 2% was the ones that was sneaking doing it. You know, they learned through whatever opposition they had to go through, and they couldn't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? Only a 2%. But from 1860 to 1870, after the Civil War, which was called the Reconstruction period, do you know they went from, let's say, a 2% illiteracy rate.
It was under 5%, right?
Yeah, it was about 2%. It was clearly under 5%. So let's say 2%. So they went from 1860, a 2% literacy rate, meaning able to read, only about 2% of the whole population of Blacks, to 1870, 10 years. Within 10 years, they went over 20% of people knew how to read and write. You know what that means? Let me tell you how they was able to do it. They united on such a pristine level. They were so persistent. Remember, continually, firmly, despite difficulty or opposition. They all got together and encouraged each other, and abolitionists helped out as well. But they all got together and said, we are going to uplift ourselves, like Marcus Garvey said. Up, you mighty race. You can achieve and accomplish many great things. And you always have throughout history. You always have. So we're going to continue to do it. So what they did, they all got together. Let me explain to you how great this was. Could you imagine what they was doing? Could you imagine someone like your grandmother, your grandfather, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, and you, a 5-year-old kid, all in the same class, learning, teaching, learning together? Could you imagine what that looked like?
Yeah, beautiful, I would say.
Yes.
That goes to show back on the, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes, like she said, beautiful and powerful. That everybody sat together and go, we were so determined and persistent that we're going to push each other to learn. Which is going to
Yeah, but I was going to say, that brings me back to the the movie Little House on the Prairie.
The series, the show.
The series, yeah. Where they actually have when it was time to go to school, not only it was little kids, it was teenagers. Kids, right? Yeah, and it probably one that almost was an adult. Yeah. That were actually, even though the teacher, it was only one teacher, but she made sure she divided them and gave them and teach everybody
and adults had to swallow that pride, because they probably felt embarrassed. I'm in class with little kids learning this stuff, but you don't know how to read. But that's what Blacks did. They all sat and pushed and helped build schools for each other, and they lift each other up. So within a 10-year span, look what great accomplishment they achieved. From 1860 to 1870, they went from a 2% rate to over 20%. Let me go even further. And from 1870 to 1910, so that's a 40-year rate. They went 20% rate to over 70%. Now look how great, there's no other race in the history of this world that has accomplished so much in such little time. So I'm gonna say that one more time. There has been no other race in the history of mankind that has accomplished so much in so little time. But black people did. That's why we titled this video, Black Excellence. But what you was gonna say?
I was gonna say, taking with all the information, that just show like how black people as a whole can be very dedicated to something.
Yes.
That's a lot of determination, and like we show that every day, like through all the difficulties that we still face to this day, unfortunately, like we still find a way to gather ourselves and be like, you know, today was hard, but let's push for the next. Like that, black people are just amazing. Like no matter what we go through, what we've been through, we always find a way to push ourselves, and this whole story, pushing one another as a full.
And we've done it before. Many, many times we have done it before. We're gonna continue to do it. So don't ever let someone think or try to make you think you're less than what you are, because you are a mighty
And
race.
be proud to be black. Like y'all need to, people, you know what I mean by, you know what I mean, but
it's what Marcus Garvey always said. Up, you mighty race. Up, you mighty race. You're very powerful. Be powerful and proud of who you are. But just think about what we was talking about. Within a 10-year span, they increased their literacy rate then over 20%. And within a 40-year span, they increase it from over, let's say 25% to over 70%. No other race has accomplished that feat. And we know about all the great inventions that they created. But of course, the colonizers steal all them inventions and all this stuff. They pretty much everything that you see, they have invented. But these jokers steal it, put their face on it. But we just talking about the, like I said, title of the video, Black Excellence. But what do you think about that? You know, you imagine that your great grandmother, grandfather in the same class with you, and y'all learning together.
It's a proud moment.
Like, wow, we all learned.
Yeah.
We all inspired and picked up and motivated each other to be great. Now, of course, we could keep going on and on. So, but in closing, what I want to say to a lot of y'all out there is always inspire to be great. Even if you're looking only in the mirror at yourself, inspire yourself to be great. Know that you come from a mighty race, as Marcus Garvey always said. Up, you mighty race. Up, you mighty race. Got something in closing?
I would just say that I'm proud to be of both races, but proud to be of color.
Puerto Rican
and black.
Yes.
But yeah, it's beautiful to know where you come from, your roots. American.
Red, black, and green.
Know your
just
roots.
like the book.
And it's amazing to know that. So.
Yeah, you know, that's what inspired me about this. Like I said, American grown, but African roots. Never forget where you're from. Because that's another thing they used to always try to act like. And I seen this powerful video. I love the guy when he said, they try to really make y'all think, and they only want you to know your history only from slavery. But you know why they don't want you to know that your history before slavery? Because if you learn the history before slavery, you know just how great your people was. You know just how great and everything that they done. And they did everything. They still do everything, so you don't know that. Because when you learn that, you realize just not only how great you were, but you realize how devious and nefarious these people were to make you believe it never happened, or that they don't want you to know just how great you are.
Or just make you not want to love yourself.
Yeah, because they know your potential. I remember I heard, who was it? Umar Johnson. He said, could you imagine you playing a game? Let's say a basketball game, right? Let's say you beating somebody, the score is, you got 80 to their 25. And it's 5 minutes left in the quarter. Do you let up on the team because you got 80 and they got 25? You could, but if you know that other team you playing is great,
yeah, I'm not letting up.
you don't let up.
Yeah.
And that's what they do to us. They know they know our potential. So that's why they work so hard to say we're gonna never let them show just how great they are. It's like the team. They know your potential. So they do everything to say we're gonna keep them down always. Because if you get them just a little bit, man, they would just grow. They would just achieve so much because of your potential. Up, you mighty race. Well, let me say it in a more powerful way. Up, you mighty, mighty race. Marcus Garvey. statement there. No, I had to do this video. I thought that was powerful. The first time I read that, within a 10-year span, they increased their literacy rate by an astronomical margin. And then 30 to 40 years from that, they increased it by triple. You imagine that? Each time they like triple, quadruple the percentage of how many people can read and write. It's amazing. But hey, hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, share, like, and comment. Peace. Up, you mighty race.